Hello everyone, my name is Matthew Walker with Medical Device Academy, and this is another episode of our narrated blog series. Today's blog title is 513G Request for Information, written by Robert Packard and published on April 9th, 2024. Version 1.0 of the FDA PreSTAR template, released March 29th, now enables the use of the PreSTAR template for 513G Request for Information. What is a 513G request? A 513G is a request for classification information from the FDA. The reference is to a Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act section. The purpose of the submission is to ask the FDA what product classification would be most appropriate for your device and what the appropriate regulatory pathway will be. The regulation requires the FDA to provide a written response within 60 days of receiving the 513G request. The submission also requires payment of an FDA user fee eligible for a small business discount. Let's pause here and take a look at the 2024 fiscal year. Here we can see that the standard user fee for a 513G is $6,528 and the small business fee is $3,264. Is it required to use the new FDA PreSTAR version 1.0 template for a 513G request? No, the FDA PreSTAR is not required to submit a 513G request for information. The FDA has not updated the 2019 guidance document yet, and the FDA continues to allow the use of an FDA e-copy for 513G submissions. However, the updated PreSTAR template simplifies the process of submitting a request for classification information. If we pause here, we can see that the guidance document in reference is the FDA and industry procedures for Section 513G requests for information under the Federal Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act, issued on December 16, 2019, and this supersedes the previous 2015 guidance document. What is the required content of a 513G request? Page 15 of the FDA guidance for 513G requests specifies the following content. 1. Cover letter. 2. Description of the device. 3. Description of what the device is to be used for. And 4. Any proposed labeling or promotional material for the device and, as applicable, any labeling or promotional material of a similar legally marketed device if available. The guidance also details the minimum requirements for these 4 content requirements. The cover letter requirements specified in the guidance document include your specific questions concerning the class in which a device has been classified and or the regulatory requirements applicable to a device. When the PreSTAR is used for a pre-submission, there is a designated section at the end of the template for entering questions. However, version 1.0 does not allow this option for a 513G. Therefore, questions must be added to the cover letter instead. The template Medical Device Academy created for a 513G includes the following default question. Reason for the 513G submission. Company name plans to submit a pre-market submission in 2020 X, and the company is requesting a decision from the FDA regarding the regulatory pathway for the subject device. This section can be modified to include additional questions depending on the specific reason for the 513G request. When should a 513G request for information be submitted? Usually, device companies ask me if I think they should submit a 513G or a pre-submission request to answer questions about the testing requirements. Often, the device has a known product classification code that requires a submission of a 510K. Sometimes, there will even be a special controls guidance document available for the product classification. In these situations, a 513G is entirely unnecessary. I can understand the difficulties people experience when navigating the FDA product classification database because the database does not use modern natural language search algorithms like Google. However, a greater concern is that most companies ask this question after they've already started the development of their device and before they plan to initiate design verification testing. This is very late in the design process, and it's even a little late to conduct a pre-submission request. Your 513G submission should be done during the beginning of your design project, during the concept or feasibility phases of design, to verify the proposed regulatory pathway. How to prepare a 513G. For any device submission, including a 513G, you must prepare a detailed device description for the FDA. Many companies find this difficult. Therefore, we provide a template for the device description. In addition to the device description, we recommend including a copy of the draft labeling and instructions for use, IFU, with each device submission. A pre-submission does not require draft labeling, but a 513G classification request does to ensure that the FDA understands your intended use for the device. Therefore, we provide templates for companies to prepare those drafts. Other resources. If you need to submit a 513G request, you can learn more about FDA content requirements by watching our 513G submission webinar. You will also receive access to our 513G templates if you purchase the webinar bundle. We also provide the templates for the device description, draft label, and draft instructions for use to new clients submitting a pre-submission meeting request, a 510K submission, or a de novo classification request. In addition, there are 6 other templates included with the 513G webinar bundle. Those templates are specifically required for de novo submissions, and we recommend including them if you believe your device requires a de novo submission. We can conclude this blog article by taking a look at the 513G submission webinar bundle. The cost as of today, June 24th, 2024, is $79 for the 1-hour training. All the content is delivered automatically via email by Aweber, and in addition to the presentation recording and native slide deck and a copy of the 513G guidance, it includes the FDA PreSTAR version 1.0 template, a 513G cover letter, a draft instructions for use template, a draft label template, a risk mitigation table, required for a de novo, an alternative procedures and techniques template, required for a de novo, an efforts to identify potential predicate device, also required for de novos, a classification rationale is Class 1 or Class 2, required for a de novo, a proposed special controls, required for a de novo, and a benefit risk analysis considerations document, which is also required for a de novo. And that brings us to the conclusion of the blog article, 513G, Request for Information. And if you've fallen in love with the sound of my voice, you can find more information on medical device design and development, regulatory affairs, quality assurance, and regulatory submissions on Medical Device Academy's website at medicaldeviceacademy.com, our YouTube page, or our brand new YouTube page, Human Factors Engineering 62366, which, once a week, we deliver a Human Factors Engineering tip of the week for how to incorporate usability into the design of your device. This channel's my favorite.